everyone. So my name is Kendra Abbott and I am an ecologist and I am a entomophagy enthusiast. Entomophagy just means eating bugs. So ento is bugs, phagy is eat. So I have been cooking with bugs for probably 15 years and in a variety of ways. I've made everything from waxworm fritters to hot and spicy crickets to like cinnamon crunch mealworms to chocolate chirp cookies, which is what I'm going to show you how to make today. So my first recipe starts out with these Akita crispy crickets. You can buy these online and there's a variety of places in North America and Canada that you can actually buy crickets from for human consumption. And I am going to actually, what I would recommend that you do is go to the Little Herds website, and I will put a link right down here so you can see the website. This is a website that just educates people on eating crickets, and if you go to his there's a place on his website where he has a variety of different companies that sell insects as food, and you can order online. Akita is one of them. They do have all sorts of different crickets spiced, barbecue cheddar, that you can just buy and try on your own. And then they just have this straight up. I think they have a protein powder. I would often put cricket meal in my protein shakes. So I think there's all sorts of different things that you can purchase. The second cookie that I made is actually from Chirps. I'm a huge fan of Chirp chips, which is they're just like corn chips that have cricket protein in them. So they're higher in protein and better for you and better for the environment. And so I will go into why you should eat insects. It's basically one of the things that we're probably going to have to do more and more as the population grows. It's a much more sustainable way to grow protein for consumption. And you can grow a ton more crickets than you can mammals for your protein source. So, and I'll also just share with you quickly my favorite story on eating, or maybe my favorite bug that I've ever eaten, and it's actually a live bug. So when we were in Ecuador, we were able to meet with a local village, and they frequently will consume coconut weevil larvae. So they cracked open a coconut for us and we were able to try coconut weevil larvae, and these were so good. It was like eating coconut oil, but maybe a little sweeter and a little nuttier. And I really enjoyed it. So I'll put some pictures in here so you can see what we were consuming. So they were quite large. But that's my favorite entomophagy story, and so without further ado, you will see me cooking chocolate chirp cookies, and then you will see me cooking the Chirps cookies, chocolate chip cookies that just have cricket flour in them. Okay, so I have whipped up a batch of my favorite chocolate chip cookies. It's a really good recipe. I added cinnamon because that is something that those Chirp chocolate chip cookies had in them. They were so good. And so the crickets that I'm going to add to these are just from Akita. This is company that grows these crickets specifically for human consumption. So the USDA inspects them just like they do any other food industry for human consumption. So these are just, I think they're just roasted, right? Yeah, just dry roasted, nothing. I used to historically do this all by myself. I used to get crickets that were organically raised for reptiles, and I would empty their guts, so let them just sit for a day or two without food, and then I would freeze them and then roast them. And so that's how I would prepare them before. And you can do that. You can grow your own at home and roast them yourself is another option. They're not that difficult. Crickets are not that difficult to raise. In fact, the reason that people are starting to eat insects as food is because they're so sustainable. So basically, 100 gallons of water will give you just 6 grams of beef or 71 grams of protein of crickets. So 100. So it's a super sustainable. Crickets are really healthy for you. They've got about 15% more iron. They've about twice as much protein, per weight than beef, and they've got about as much vitamin B12 as salmon does. So they're super healthy for you. They're super sustainable, water conservation, and really, we're one of the only cultures that don't actually consume insects as a food source. So there's actually fancy restaurants popping up all over that are starting to, gourmet restaurants starting to serve insects as food. So basically, I just use these as nuts. So instead of nuts, I'll put crickets in here, and they taste very similar. In fact, crickets are one of those things, it's a bit like tofu, and you can, whatever they last eat is what they basically will taste like. So let's just spatula, knock down the sides of this bowl. They also sell this stuff as protein powder. I would put it in my smoothies in the morning instead of, like whey protein, which is of course again from beef, right? It's milk, so it's from cattle. So instead of whey protein, I would use cricket protein, again more sustainable. So that's it. Let's put these on the plate, or put these on a pan and cook them up and give them a try. Okay, so here they are. These are the cricket cookies. Now these are, I would say most people have to just sort of get over the idea of eating insects. It's more of a mental thing than a taste thing. 90% of people, when they actually taste it, they're like, oh, this isn't that bad. And that's true. It's not that bad at all. So you can see in here, there's a cricket every once in a while. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but I can see if I can get it up here close to you, if it'll focus. There you go. See, there's a cricket right there. But, and if you really want to impress somebody, and the more gourmet way to do it would be to actually remove all the legs and just have the body, so you don't get those little exoskeletons on it. So let's just give this a try and see how it tastes. Yep, that's good. That's a good cookie. Chocolate chirp cookies. They're pretty awesome. You can try it at home. You can order Akita crickets at home and just throw them into your regular chocolate chip cookie recipe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you try this at home. Okay, so you just saw me making cookies with whole crickets in them as a substitute for, say, a nut in a chocolate chip cookie. And now for those of you who maybe are a little wimpier and want to sort of like slowly ease into eating bugs, I have these Chirps brand eat bugs. Now this brand is sort of famous for their chirp chips. So I think there's like 2 crickets per chip or something along those lines. But this is their cookie version, which I tasted it at the entomology meeting, but I have not made them myself. So what they've done is they've used cricket flour in this. So all you need is 6 tablespoons of butter, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So let me prep that and then I'll come right back. Okay, so I've got my 6 tablespoons of butter that I've softened. I've actually melted it, but whatever. And then my vanilla and egg. And so I'll just open this puppy up. I'll show you kind of the consistency. Can you see in there? So it's just cricket powder ground up, just looks like flour. It's a little bit darker, but basically looks like flour. You can see this already has all the chocolate chips in it and everything, so pour them out. Ooh, you can smell it. It has cinnamon in it. Ooh, that smells really good. These are gonna be good. Okay, then I'll just pour the butter in. Make sure I get all of the butter out. Okay. Egg. A little vanilla. I think it says 1 teaspoon, but you know, just winging it. Yeah, 1 teaspoon. Hands off here, and we'll mix. So now it just says, you know, mix slowly to combine. It does say to refrigerate this, and I was actually going to skip that step, but my oven is warming up. But oops, I am gonna refrigerate this because this seems, I think because I melted the butter, it seems quite liquidy. So I'm gonna refrigerate this just briefly. Okay. So I'm just gonna use this scoop, and you can see, I think there is cinnamon here making this a little bit darker, but you can see that the batter is a little bit darker brown, and that's the cricket flour, in my experience, does that. Now, I think, yeah, so they have a cricket baking mix, which this is wheat flour, oat flour, and cricket flour. So, FYI. I'm sure you can go onto their website and order these online. I'm hoping someday we can get the Natural History Museum to have these in the gift store. I think they would be fun. I do know that if you have a gift store or museum near you, I know that they, Chirp, the company, loves to do wholesale stuff. So you can talk your museum into carrying these. Kind of a fun gift. And I mean, the big bonus really is that it's so sustainable. I mean, you know, the amount of water that you need to sustain, you know, to grow crickets is just the smallest fraction of what it is for the same amount of beef. If I can get all this in here. Okie dokie, so there they are. But I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 cookies out of that bag. Okay, we'll pop them in here and be back in a minute. Okay, so these are our chocolate chip cookies from Chirps, Eat Bugs, and 5 grams of protein per cookie. It's a good source of zinc and B12. One warning, if you do have crustacean allergies, you may have allergies to cricket flour too, just FYI. But let's see here. So let's see what these cookies look like. So you can see that they're a little darker. They do have cinnamon in them, so that is adding to the darkness, but the cricket flour is also makes everything a little bit darker. So the last step on here is eat all of the cookies, and I'll give it a try. I've eaten many, many insects in my life, and I know what they taste like. I can even tell the difference between when crickets switch their diet from grain. When chickens are laying eggs, I can tell the difference between when they've switched from grain to eating insects again. I can taste the insects in the eggs. And I taste zero cricket flour in here. So if you're concerned and you just wanna, just test the waters of entomophagy, I would highly recommend getting these Eat Bugs from Chirps, the chocolate chip cricket cookie mix. Very good. I love the cinnamon that they added to it. That's fabulous. Reminds me of Mexican hot chocolate with the chocolate and cinnamon. Very good. Very, very good. It's maybe one of my favorite chocolate chip cookies I've ever had. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the various types of chocolate chip cookies that you can make at home. And yeah, just head over to Little Herd's website and just kind of see what's going on, what they're trying to do with the entomophagy movement in the United States, ways you can chip in, and places you can order from. And I will say that Chapool, I did get some of the images that I showed on, why eat insects and the quantities of the nutrition in them. I got those from Chapool, which has a protein bar, and I would say that they have the best flavors of like energy bars of anyone, and they use cricket flour in them. I will often bring these to outreach events, and they are incredibly popular. So yeah, head on over to Little Herds and you can learn more about eating insects and maybe get a coupon code to try some yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye.